When it comes to our money goals, there are so many things we want to achieve. Paying off debt, building up some emergency savings, investing for our children's education, paying off the mortgage, and still having enough to retire comfortably one day. With all of these goals and the pressure to achieve them, it can become overwhelming. So I'm knocking on the door of an expert to get some tips on how to prioritize these goals without taking all the fun out of life. Rosanna, when I speak to a lot of young people, they feel quite overwhelmed by their finances. So, telling them to save for a goal, for example, when they're just trying to put food and rent, pay for food and rent, what do you suggest to a young person in terms of creating financial priorities?
Well, in terms of financial priorities, the unfortunate thing is that we all have those things that absolutely have to be paid, and then we also have those things that we would like to get to. So what I would suggest is when we get our finances, our money every month, we try to allocate a portion of it, whatever we can manage, allocate it to all those different things. And in doing so, even if we have 100 Rand that we have spare, we've allocated it towards our financial savings, our financial goals. It's putting something away and starting immediately.
It was quite interesting because didn't you do a survey recently on COVID and the impact of having those savings on our psyche?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually we looked at 1,200 respondents in South Africa last year or the year before. And what we found is that 56% of them had wished that they had saved more, and that would have given them some sort of preparedness for what COVID had brought and the situations it had brought. So if they had a little bit of money put towards savings, that emergency fund would have allowed them to feel prepared for what they were facing. So having some money put aside contributes to financial resilience and mental resilience, and that also helps.
And of course, when you're young, you have time ahead of you.
Yes.
And the compounding effect of even 100 or 200 Rand a month is unbelievable. And I think if I could just get that message through to young people, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It's about starting now. If you start now, you can actually put away less money than if you start later.
Yes, yeah. So I think the important message there is the catch-up game is a losing game, right? We will never be able to catch up the later we start. So the idea is that if you start as early as possible, and that's the benefit of us being young, that we now have the wisdom to do it right now. And if you get to a point where you've been saving as a young person for 10 years and you get to, say, the age of 30, even if you stop saving at that point, you're still in a better financial position than the person who is starting at 30 trying to catch up with what they had missed over the last 10 years.
Okay, fast forward now, you're in your mid-30s, you've possibly taken on more debt than you would have liked, except now you have a child, you've got a mortgage, and often elderly parents to look after. How at this point do you start to prioritize your finances?
So there are certain priorities that you need to meet in yourself in order to put yourself in a position to be able to care for others. And that's how you would prioritize it. What is it that you need, your household needs, your debt? How can you manage it better to free yourself up so that you can cater to the needs of all the other people that you are responsible for?
How do we prioritize fun? How do we have fun with our money?
We can delay gratification and we can plan for the fun that we want to have in the grandest way possible. You could save if I want to have a grand wedding, or if I want to have a 50th birthday milestone, or have an international holiday. Those are things that I can envision for myself, and I can plan ahead and I can enjoy it fully because I've prepared for it. And even when I am enjoying it, I know that there's no consequence because I didn't use debt to give myself this thing. I've prepared for it and now I can enjoy it.
Absolutely, and I must tell you, I'm a big believer in that. I do like to have a really nice holiday every now and then, and I put money away for that. It's called my holiday slush fund. That is actually literally the name of the account that I have my money in. So absolutely, make sure you plan for fun as well. If you don't set a goal, you will miss every time. When it comes to your money matters and short, medium, and long-term goals, don't get overwhelmed. Rather see it as taking control. That way, you have a clear roadmap of where you're headed and what you need to do along the way to turn those goals into reality.